It's easy to let anxiety rule your life. It's easy to let worry take hold, and then suddenly it feels like you're reliving at its mercy. But today I want to share some tools from the Stoics that will help you stop letting anxiety control you. People would conspire against him. Natural disasters would strike. There'd be famine and war. He knew that he couldn't be in control of all those things. Now, I know that sounds scary, but what it actually means is thinking through worst-case scenarios before they happen. When you imagine yourself successfully getting through a difficult situation, you build confidence in your ability to get through it. And in the same way, when you think about the worst-case scenario, you build confidence in your ability to still be okay if that thing were to happen. He calls it the "you are not your thoughts" breathing exercise. And it's simple. And that's this. Subscribe to the channel. Maybe you're nervous that you're going to mess it up. The second part, Pre Meditatio Malorum, is where you think through worst-case scenarios. You just need to remember it. You need to remind yourself of it. And so I wanted to share this with you because I think it'll help you. You think about the possibility that you do everything right and you still bomb the presentation. You think about the possibility that you do everything right and you still don't get the promotion. You think about all those things and you imagine yourself getting through it. And what you'll find is that in imagining yourself getting through it, you realize that you actually are getting through it. You realize that you are stronger than you think. And that's when the anxiety fades away, and you can just focus on what's in your control. Maybe you're afraid that people are going to laugh at you. Maybe you worried that you not get the promotion after that you want, because you bombed the presentation. And I've been lucky enough to speak all over the world to some of the biggest companies and organizations in the world about the lessons we can learn from the Stoics, the ancient philosophers, the Greeks, and the Romans that can help us live better, more meaningful lives today. Well, the Stoics would say that this fear of losing the presentation, losing the promotion, them laughing at you, that this is something that's outside of your control. And I'm excited to share this with you. But before we jump into it, I want to hear from you. What does Stoicism mean to you? How has it impacted your life? What's the one lesson that you've taken away from studying this philosophy? I respond to them myself. I love hearing from all of you. Leave a comment below. Let me know. I always read them. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. We have new episodes every single week. It's not in your control whether they laugh at you. It's not in your control whether you get the promotion. What's in your control is how you prepare for the presentation, how you show up to the presentation, what you say at the presentation, how you conduct yourself. Those things are in your control. So that's where you should focus your energy, not on worrying about the outcome, but on doing your best. Every week we publish a new episode on this channel that teaches you the skills of Stoic philosophy. These are ancient tools that can be used today. And I know that you're interested in this stuff. So join the growing community of Stoic philosophers and practitioners. Every week we send out a newsletter that teaches you the art of living a good life. It's free. It takes just a second. And I promise you, you won't regret it. So when you feel anxious, you feel like there's all these thoughts that are controlling you. These intrusive thoughts, these worries, these fears. And it's easy to get swept up in them, to feel like you are them, that you are your anxiety. But you're not. You are the observer of your thoughts, not the other way around. So when you notice yourself getting overwhelmed, you just do this. You take a breath in, you hold it for 4 seconds, you breathe out, and you repeat it. As you do, say to yourself, I am not my thoughts, and then focus on something else. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a work project. It could be a creative pursuit. It could be a conversation. It just matters that you focus on something else. This isn't about ignoring your thoughts. It's not about pushing them away. It's about recognizing that you are not your thoughts, that you are not your anxiety. And that once you get that perspective shift, you get this sense of calm. And I know this sounds overly simplistic, but I guarantee you if you try it, you'll see that it works. It's one of those things that you have to experience to believe. You think about how you would handle it. You think about what you would say. You rehearse responses mentally. And then you realize that even if the worst were to happen, you could still get through it, which means you don't need to worry about it. In fact, Marcus Aurelius writes, "He who has a definite plan for everything that might happen will never panic." This is why it's such a powerful tool. So it's simple. Think through worst-case scenarios before they happen. Visualize yourself successfully navigating those situations. Build up that confidence, and then watch your anxiety melt away. In fact, he knew that he wasn't in control of anything outside of his own mind. And Pre Meditatio Malorum, how you can use them right now to calm your mind. Now, this might sound simple, maybe even too simple, but there's a reason why it's one of the most popular Stoic exercises. See, when you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your attention away from things that are outside of your control to things that are inside of your control. You focus on the good, on what's working, on what's going well, and you realize that you have more to be thankful for than you do to be anxious about. Write down 3 things every morning that you're grateful for, and watch your anxiety fade away. And it becomes easier to face whatever challenges come your way with a clear and calm mind. So make this a habit. And I'm going to give you 2 tactics that you can use right now. And so he wrote in his journal Meditations. These are his own personal notes that we have access to. He wrote, "There are some things that are in our control and others that are not." And then he goes on to say, "It is in our control not to be upset by external events." This idea that there are things that are in our control and things that are not in our control is called the Dichotomy of Control. And it's a simple but powerful way to think about the world, and instead how you can take back control of your mind and of your life. When Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor and Stoic philosopher, he would look out over his vast empire, which he was ultimately responsible for, he knew that things would inevitably go wrong. And what the Stoics realized is that anxiety happens when we refocused on things that are outside of our control. Because we assume that if we focus enough on these things, if we pray hard enough, or make wishes hard enough, or convince ourselves, beg ourselves, plead with the universe enough, that we can change them, that we can alter them, that we can influence them. Well, you know, most of the time we can't. Most of the time things happen irrespective of our wishes. And when they do, when bad things happen, often we find ourselves even more anxious because we didn't see them coming. We didn't anticipate them. And so Epicurus says that this happens because we haven't done our homework, which is another word for focusing on things that are in our control. So if you find yourself stuck in a loop of anxiety, just ask yourself, is this something that's in my control? If the answer is no, then don't waste any more time worrying about it. And if the answer is yes, well, then that's where your attention needs to be. The second tool is called Pre Meditatio Malorum, which is Latin for premeditating evils. Okay, let's talk about how you can use these 2 tools, the dichotomy of control. So the first one is to write down 3 things every morning that you're grateful for. And the second tactic is one that I learned from William Irvine's book, Guide to Good Life. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I would end with a sort of challenge, a call to action. So let me give you an example of this. Let's say you're worried about a presentation that you have to do at work. I'm the author of a book. That's the first part of the exercise. This is a mindset that you can adopt that will change your relationship to anxiety, to worry, to fear. And it's really quite simple. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. I'm here. I'm the host. I'm an actor and writer. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about what the Stoics teach us about dealing with anxiety, about dealing with worry. Let's begin.